Hello, Honorable Judge and dear jury. I am Crown Attorney Mrs. Paz, and we are here today to discuss the outcome of a very sad story. A story in which a hard-working family lost everything. A story which leaves this family in constant fear in their own home. I am here to tell this tragic story of the Bear family. But before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about Little Bear, Mama Bear, and Papa Bear. Their life before this horrendous incident was as cute and perfect as their names. Papa Bear worked at the Forest Bakery, bringing home the fish for the family. And he would bake bear paws for all the little orphans at Bear Orphanage. Mama Bear was a regular stay-at-home housewife. She would care for her sweet, innocent little bear and would greet him every day after school with a bear hug. Unlike other bears, she was not overbearing and would greet her husband a very nice day before he went to work. She was also a part of the elementary school's parent advisory committee and was known to cook a hell of a salmon roast. Little Bear was popular. He was the most popular cub at the school. Although he was a very studious student, every day he would anxiously wait for school to end to go home to his loving mother and sit on his favorite red chair. This chair was a gift from his hard-working parents for his 5th birthday, and he loved it with all of his tiny heart. However, this tiny little heart was broken into a million pieces around 8:30 a.m. on Saturday, June 5th, when he discovered that his chair was broken. On Saturday, June 5th, the Bear family was left devastated as Goldilocks, the girl you see in front of your very eyes, destroyed everything they had. She forcefully entered the Bear's house without permission, ate the porridge that was made for the Bear Orphanage, and she destroyed Little Bear's chair, and she even slept on their beds. The Bear family was out on their usual morning stroll. They take this stroll every day, and it is possible that Goldilocks knew when they left she could go into the house. The defense might say otherwise. But why ever she did it does not matter, because it was against the law. Now, she may claim that she didn't do it, but fingerprints and hair samples were found all over the crime scene, which forensic scientist Dr. Grizzly will give his expert testimony to later in the trial. We have an eyewitness, poor Little Bear, who directly found Goldilocks in his bed. Mama Bear will take the stand to testify that the family's belongings were in fact broken only after the accused had entered the house. You, dear jury, will hear angry Papa Bear as he recalls coming home to the house after a peaceful walk and finding his door ajar, the door that he remembers that he closed. The house gave the impression of being occupied. There was furniture, hot porridge, and family photos. What 15-year-old would not understand that this house was not occupied? Yet, Goldilocks still entered, without permission, destroyed the stuff in the house, and obliterated the Bear's sense of safety. Now the Bear family cannot enjoy the house that they worked so hard to build. When they saw that an intruder had trespassed, they were horrified, especially because she wasn't a bear. They saw an unknown creature with yellow fur. The bear family could not fathom what would have happened to them if they had been in the home while the intruder was there. Now I ask you, dear jury, and I hope this question is in mind as the trial proceeds. No matter what reasoning Goldilocks had of entering the house, was it right for her to break in, destroy their property, and obliterate their sense of safety? Is that what the law wants?
Good morning. My name is Goldilocks. My client Goldilocks was accused of breaking an entry and disruptive of property on Sunday the 6th of 2015. However, I want you to get to know this young, innocent, driving little girl better before you all make your decision. Goldilocks was born on December 32nd of 2000. She is now 15 years old. She was beloved by her peers and family. In her spare time, she volunteered in a senior home and helped out the homeless. She came from a fairly wealthy family. Her father was and her mother was a Victoria's Secret model. The day before the incident, her family decided to take a trip, a camping trip, to a blueberry forest. Sunday morning, the day of the incident, she went for a walk and wandered around the forest, and then she decided to get back as it was about to rain. However, she could not recall the way back to the campsite. Therefore, she kept walking and walking. And for hours, she'd been walking in the forest trying to find her way out. And it was cold, and she was so hungry. Finally, she came across a small wooden house. She walks toward the house, hoping to get help from people who was in there, obviously. As she approached the house, she noticed that the door was unlocked. And so she knocked a couple times. However, no one was answered. So she walked in. As she walked in, she saw there was food on the table. At this point, as if you were Goldilocks, you've been out for so long, and it was so cold outside. What would you have done? And you were so hungry. Think about that. Think of the little girl. Like any starving person would do, she ate the food. After, she headed upstairs to take a short nap while waiting for the owner to return home. And shortly after, the bear arrived and Goldilocks encountered them. She got scared and so she ran away. Who would not be scared? At this point, many of you would think that she is guilty because she has no right to enter the house without permission. She ate the food, broke a chair, and slept on a bed. Put yourself in her shoes. Would you have entered the house? You were so cold, so hungry, and it was raining outside. You got scared. She's 50 and she doesn't know anything. Might have went a little overboard. However, she was alone, like I said earlier. This is what any reasonable person would do. But last but not least, the three bears left their house unlocked, a clear example of moral hazard. Goldilocks was not guilty of breaking an entry, neither was she guilty of trespassing, because the law required a verbal and written warning before someone can be prosecuted, because of the act was uncompletely